She's like love, 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 and music. La, la, la. Love, 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 and music.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner, and this is my review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 10, episode 8 that just went off earlier today. This review will not be up until early Monday. Well, real late Sunday, early Monday, because I was watching the Golden Globes because I had to report on that stuff on my Instagram channel. But yeah, I'm here now. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. It is about to be Monday, start to hold the work week. Yes, I am in pajamas, and I threw a sweater on because I'm like, it's late. Like, it's 12:40 at night, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes y'all don't even realize how late I be recording these reviews, and I be having to put on like real clothes and stuff like that. But I was like, no, I'm just gonna start putting on, some real cool pajamas and a sweater. Let it be what it be. But yeah, I hope everyone had a great weekend, and we're gonna get started to this new work week. Almost time for the holiday, for the MLK Day, which is next Monday, and then my birthday is next Tuesday. Yay! But yeah, this particular episode of The Housewives, it was cool. I liked it or whatnot. I feel like Sheree gonna get on my nerves, and Marlo gonna get on my nerves. I don't know why yet, but that's just what I'm feeling in my soul. So we see how the episode starts off with Kenya meeting with the director photographer Derek Blanks. I don't know if anybody knows Derek Blanks. He has been on The Housewives before a few times. Doing photo shoots and things like that. So Kenya wants him to help her work on her PSA for domestic violence. And, I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. She was saying how when she was 16 years old, she was dating a person who was 11 years her senior. So she was 16 dating a 27-year-old. And he was physically abusive to her. And, she brings up how he, it got so bad to where he stabs her. Now, I think I heard about Kenya. I haven't called my hair all weekend, so this is my first time calling my hair, so that's why I keep messing with it. I think I remember hearing about Kenya being in something abusive a long time ago. Not on The Housewives, but just like in regular news. So, that was interesting for her to share her particular domestic violence story. But, luckily, she got out of it. She made it out alive. It is what it is. So, this is her way of, trying to bring awareness to the whole domestic violence situation within people in their relationships. And the funny part to me was when she was talking to Derek, and she was like, yes, I wanted to look really nice. I wanted to be really elegant. I don't want it to look rinky-dinky, like it was something shot on the iPhone. Because as y'all know, what am I doing right now? Shooting this video on the iPhone. But as she said, how she does not want it to look basically bootleg. Sheree walk in there, bootleg ass blonde wig. I do not like Sheree in blonde. I do not. I think Sheree looks good with brown hair, with black hair. I'm not feeling Sheree with these blonde wiggeries that she keep doing. And I'm like, it was kind of her. That wig was winky dinky. So she come in and she don't sit down because, of course, remember, Kenya wanted her to be a part of this PSA for domestic violence because Sheree and her stuff were Bob Whitfield. So when Sheree get in, Kenya and Derek was going over the direction of the video, and Kenya said, like, yeah, because we wanted this to happen, and blah blah blah. We're gonna have Shamia's gonna be a part of it. She's gonna tell her story. We're gonna have Cynthia's mom's gonna be a part of it too. And so Sheree like, well, who was this whole we thing? Like, who was we? And she was like, well, me as the executive producer. And so Sheree is making it seem like, well, I thought it was gonna be us. I wanted to be partners in this. And I'm like, okay, if you say so. She then brings up how, it's kind of Kenya's fault that she had to even speak on her domestic violence situation. And she brings up how last season, when she said, because you was being shady and said that I was, I used to be abused by my boyfriends. But Sheree denied all of that. So for me, I was like, so why are you making it seem as if you had to speak up? When she brought it up, you denied it. Now it's the end of it. Nobody else talked about it besides you. Next thing we know, you and Bob was on the bus and on the trip, saying things happen or whatnot. So then from there, um, she said how she never told Kenya yes. She's like, I never gave her a definite yes. I really haven't heard from her. But I'm like, okay, so you never really told her yes, then why are you here at this meeting acting like you want to be all gung-ho, you want to be partners? You didn't even say yes yet. So I'm like, okay, it is what it is. So, she's saying how she doesn't want to be an assistant. She doesn't want to be an intern. So Kenya told her, well, pick whatever title you see fit that would make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? You can chip in and help when you can. And I'm like, well, okay, it is what it is. Next, we see a meetup between Nene and Marlo. Now, they're meeting up at Nene's house. For me, I was like, whatever. They bring up how Kenya's having this whole video shoot thing, and Marlo tried to be shady, say, what, because she ain't got no husband? And Nene was like, no, it's for the whole domestic violence thing, so then they get serious or whatever. So we see that part. But then it go from that to Marlo wanting to be the goddamn peacemaker between Portia and Nene. And she's telling Nene, like, you and Portia need to meet up. Y'all need to have a conversation. How about this? How about y'all come to my house for tea? We'll even have Sheree there to, so that everybody can feel more comfortable, and y'all can kind of sort out y'all issues, because what happened out of town, it's kind of crazy. And I'm like, I don't care if Portia and Nene makes up. I honestly don't. I feel like that's Portia's whole storyline is kind of making up with people this season. Nene is saying how, Portia comes to meet up or whatever, and then she takes accountability for her part of the demise of their friendships, that she would be open and willing to move on. She's like, but that's what she wants Portia to do. And, she says how Portia has basically never been grateful for the things that Nene did to help her. Now, I don't know if she mean Nene helped, because Nene brought up how she, when she was getting divorced from Cordell, when she, jumped on Kenya, and how she helped her in those situations. And she just felt like Portia has never really, really been grateful for those issues. And now she's acting as if Nene is the one who has a problem with her. I think it's petty that y'all basically arguing over who has a problem. Both of y'all do. It's stupid. I mean, it's a really dumbass conversation. What else? It was a little scene where we see with Cynthia, was at home cooking or whatnot, and Noelle come in, and her phone rings, and Noelle notices that it's Will. And so, of course, Cynthia answers it, and it's all cutesy-wootsy or whatever. And Cynthia said, oh, yeah, we just, he like, oh, hey, what you and Noelle doing? She's like, oh, we just around the house, I'm cooking some vegetable. I think she like vegetable something, or vegan something. And he said, oh, well, you had some turkey in it, I might have, came over. And she said, well, it ain't too late for me to go get some turkey. And I said, that's cute or whatnot. So they kind of chit-chat for a second, then they got the phone. And then Noelle just asked her, like, when will she meet him? And Cynthia's like, okay, you will eventually meet him. Cynthia says how she didn't, once she got divorced from Peter, she didn't want to meet anyone to get serious. She wanted to just kind of date around. She said, but she didn't plan on meeting Will fast stuff and actually liking him. So, they're basically dating. It is what it is. But she gets a text from Marlo about the tea with Nene and Portia, and she's all game to help them fix their situation. We see a little small scene with Candy. Candy and Todd is at OLG, and they basically have a lot of relatives working. Like her cousin works there as a hostess. We see that her Riley's sister, who is Candy's first baby daddy daughter, works there too. We see Todd's daughter, their daughter Kayla, she works there. I'm like, it's a real ass family affair. But I'm like, because it's especially when you have your ex baby daddy daughter working there, and he ain't been too much of a good daddy for and for you to give his daughter a job, I'm like, okay, all right, Candy, you do what you do. So next we do see who came in? Aunt Nora, Aunt Bertha, and Mama Joyce. I come in to talk to Todd and talk to Candy. And they basically was saying, like Mama Joyce was saying, I thought what Mama Joyce said made sense. She said that she wanted where the hostess stands to be different. She said, because now when you walk in, for the hostess to be right at the door, and if it's a line at the door for her taking orders, it just looks cluttered and too much or whatever. I get that. Yeah, move the hole to somewhere to where when you walk in the door, it's not like a line. It's not like a long. It doesn't look cluttered. I got that. And then our Bertha and our Nora basically wants the staff to wear uniforms. One aunt was saying how they shouldn't have had their pants sagging on off their butt, and all this stuff. They want to wear uniforms and they want them to look presentable. I get that totally, but again, OLG is still a new restaurant, and Kenny and Todd don't know how. I want to say they don't know how to run a restaurant, and then we see how the old general manager quit. So they just been kind of making do or whatever. But they both busy too, just doing other stuff. So it's a lot. So they do bring up how they're in the process of getting a new general manager. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. The little scene with Portia talking to Ricky at the office, I thought was a pointless scene, simply because I don't believe on anywhere that Portia and Ricky like each other. I don't. So I'm like, Portia like, yeah, he would make a great husband. Excuse me, he would make a great husband. And they laughing and giggling. He said, yeah, because you didn't work at Dish Nation, girl. It'd be on and popping. I don't believe that for a second. Because my thing is, people who work together date sometimes. So my thing is, if they really wanted to date, they could. There are ways to date people you work with. Like, professionally. Because it happens. I'm looking like, I think she doing it for a storyline. I don't see it. I wasn't here for it. I'm looking like whatever. I just really didn't care. He'd make a good husband. Girl, I really didn't care. We see Candy, she goes to visit Sheree at Sheree's house, and Sheree says how, I just got back in town, so my house is a mess, the maid is coming, in a couple hours. Sheree, your house looks like no one lives there. Sheree's house looks like, when you watch, like I watch $1 Million Listing, which comes on Bravo. You know how they have the houses for sale, and they had the houses staged to sell? Her house looked like a house that's staged to sell. It doesn't look like a house that anyone lives in at all. Like, she's, it's kind of dusty in here. Girl, your house look brand new. Like, you don't do nothing in there. And they said, I gotta go grocery shopping. Yeah, if you want to eat, you need food, don't you? Well, if not, you're going to starve to death. But, I just don't, I'm not saying Sheree don't live there. I'm just saying it don't look like she live there. It doesn't. It's too clean. It just doesn't look lived in. I mean, it don't. I'm like, I don't know. Anywho, she brings up how, she has talked to her kids about the whole abuse situation. And, she said how it was hard for her to have that conversation. She said when she talked to them, I didn't blame anyone. I didn't put the blame on me or him. And, I didn't really go into detail about it at all. And the thing that I thought about it was like, well, you didn't give us no details either, Sheree. I mean, it's still... I still don't know what happened between her and Bob. Honestly, I really don't. I don't, she hasn't talked about it. We know something happened, but no one actually knows what. We don't know if he just yelled at her, if he punched her. We don't know what it was. So, it is what it is. So from there, we see how, she said how she really hasn't heard from Kenya about this whole PSA situation. She was saying how, I was supposed to be like partners in on it. And then, I haven't heard from her. She used to kind of do stuff on her own. So I don't know. But I still feel like you keep saying that you didn't give her a yes, but you want her to contact you to help. But then she said, I offer my help, but I feel like I shouldn't have to call her and beg her to help. I would just like, don't call her and beg her to help. But if you are a part of it, why aren't you calling her too? Like, why don't you call her and say, well, hey, this is my idea for A, B, and C. Because my thing is, if she's calling you, telling you to help her, then you're not really a part of it. You just, what I'm saying? You're not a partner in it. You're just a participant in it. And that's how I see things. But, it is what it is. So, Candy then brought up, how the trip to San Francisco went or whatever. And then she brings up, I was surprised to see how you were being so open about your new boo. And she's like, well, yeah, it is what it is. She's like, yeah, because Nene had mentioned that, he was supposedly a con artist. And then Sheree was like, oh, Nene, how she be or whatever. And in her confession, she says, well, Nene don't have no room to talk because both her and Greg had mugshots. I was like, Greg got a mugshot? I'm going to Google it and see what that mugshot is because I'm looking like I wonder what they both was arrested for. I mean, like, was it something petty? Like, maybe like, I don't know what you go to shit. But you want to get mugshots for like real, we can get mugshots for like drunk driving or something like that. But I'm like, was they like robbing somebody? Like, what was going on? I'm not sure. But I'm going to find them goddamn mugshots. So, she's like, so that is what it is. But she's like, no, he's not a con artist. And so Candy was like, well, when is he getting out? And she's like, well, hopefully by the end of the year. And Candy was like, well, is he coming? He coming here? Coming home here? And she was like, no, not initially. I ain't stupid. And Candy was like, well, girl, I've been dumb before. I think all women have been dumb, but I think Sheree is dumb for even. First of all, I think the guy, we already know, like, in real time that he's not getting out this year. Well, damn, because he ain't out now and it's January. I think he has to do the other 4 years. So let's see if that really works. And if she's going to really, stay with this man all these years he wants to be in prison. Because I think it's like 4 more years. But girl, if you like it, I love it. It is what it is. So yeah. The whole tea party at Marlo's house, it was awkward. I don't get when people try to force people to be friends. I think that's a stupid thing to do. Because their argument, the Nene and Portia argument, is so petty. It's so petty that they're not going to fix it. You know what I'm saying? I think they're both going to continue to have their own opinion about how things went, and it ain't going to be fixable. I think they can be cordial the same way how Candy is cordial around Portia, but I don't think it's going to be fixable or whatever. So, I think Cynthia got to Marlo's house first. Marlo keep calling me, oh, yeah, this is the Hamptons. No, it's not, girl. The Hamptons is not. No, it's not. And I still want to find out, what does Marlo do for a living to afford her cost of living? Because the house was beautiful. Okay, let's not get it twisted. But no one knows what she does. Like, I think she'd be like the Papa the Coochie for a goon, but, or a drug dealer or a real estate banker. I'm not sure. I think she just has sugar daddies, and that's what she does, and she makes good money at it. But I just feel like you showing your house, because this is Marlo has been trying to get on Housewives for years. So this is the first time. So when she said, this is the first time y'all see my house, no, this is the first time they've filmed at your house. And you trying to show off of everything that it is. And, but it was beautiful, but I really didn't care because I'm looking like I don't know what she do. So, Portia comes, then Nene comes. And, we first of all, they didn't want to even drinking tea. It was like cranberry juice and vodka. My kind of tea party. I'm going to have that kind of tea party for my birthday, maybe. I might have an alcoholic tea party. So Cynthia says, like, look, me and Nene stopped talking for 2 years. Marlo and Nene stopped talking for 4 years. I'm pretty sure if we can get past our issues, so can y'all. So what's the issue? So Portia starts talking, and she starts saying, with me and Nene, I tried to support her. I, went to see her show when she was on Broadway. When she was on Dance with the Stars, I sent tweets out for her. And Nene like, girl, bye. She was like, that ain't, she feels like Portia basically is a bad friend. She said when Portia was down on her luck when she was getting divorced from Cordell, when she, had a whole thing with Kenya and put her hands on Kenya, she said she felt like at that point in time, Portia was in need. So because Portia was in need, they were always on the phone talking. They were very much in communication. She said once Portia no longer needed that help, that Portia stopped answering her calls and texts. Like, I would call you and text you, and you wouldn't respond. And Portia said, well, you text me twice and didn't respond. Anytime you ain't talked to somebody in years, and they give you them, and they can say, well, you called me 2 times, and I didn't answer. If they have the exact number of times that something didn't happen, they lying. So my thing is, no one can remember how many times someone called them. You just don't remember stuff like that. So I feel like Portia was lying about that. And Nene is kind of just over it. This entire, she's like, well, you know what? I'm over, Portia just wants to be right. She's like, so, I'm just so tired of, she was just tired of it. And Nene didn't care. And Portia realized Nene didn't care. And she said, well, you give me all kind of, I don't give a fuck how you acting, how you talking. Nene was looking at her phone, rolling her eyes. She didn't care. But again, that's why I'm like, I don't know why they tried to get them back together. Because they don't want to talk to each other. Who cares? Girl, bye. So, Nene was like, okay, I'm fine with it, I don't really care. And Portia was saying, when Portia said, you can give 2 fucks about us, and Nene was like, okay. And it was this awkward tea party where nothing was resolved, nothing was really talked about. And again, I say it's because they both have the pettiest of reasons of why they not talking, because they both feel like the other one has a problem. That's a stupid reason to not be able to have a conversation. And then neither one of y'all can really pinpoint what the issue is. then y'all ain't really friends, and it is what it is. We see Candy, Todd, and Don Juan interview the possible new GM for the old lady gang. The guy has some good responses. I can't say that. You know, he has a good background in the restaurant field. He went to school for it or whatever, and he even looked up the restaurant and saw the kind of reviews they had, the bad reviews they had, and what the issues were. Now, what you notice is they did not say any of the issues on television. All they showed him say was, you know, I looked y'all up, and you know, in the past month, y'all had like I think maybe like 70 ratings. That was like a 3 or below. So I'm sure he told them what they were, but they wasn't gonna play it on TV. But he said how he, you know, he said he would be able to do the job, basically is what he said. And Ken's like, well, I feel like he talk a good talk, but, you know, can he really do the job? And it sounds like they're going to give him the job and see how he do, because even Don Juan said, you know, this is a very fast-paced industry, and sometimes when things happen, we need someone to, like, be quick to respond to whatever's going on. You know, can you do that? Like, how do you react? How do you work under pressure? And he said, you know, I prefer working under pressure. He said all the typical answers someone says in a job interview. Let's make that clear. But hopefully, because he has the background to do it, he'll be able to do it. Because John Juan was like, you know, let's be truthful, you know, because y'all ain't the easiest person to work with. And, you know, when Mama was coming here barking out orders, you know, let's see how he'll be able to handle that. Because everybody who work here is a strong, you know, they're very strong-minded, strong-willed, and they have their own opinions, and it is what it is. So I'm like, well, okay, you know, that's what it is. Hopefully it's going to be fine. Next, we see Kenya's PSA. Now, for season after season after season, people have made fun of Kenya, saying stuff like, I don't think she's really working, you know, doing movies and stuff. She don't know what she be doing. Da, 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 da. I have to say kudos to Kenya, because seeing her in this element put a whole different Kenya in my head. And I'm like, she looked like she know what she doing. Like, it was crazy. You know, we see how she had, because we see, you know, they have the area where people are telling their story, and she's sitting behind the camera kind of asking them questions. And we see Shamia's up first telling her story, and Kim's like, okay, you know, tell your story. So Shamia goes into how she was married about 10 years ago, and she's like, you know, it was cool at first. And then Kenya said, okay, talk about the first time he put his hands on you. I said, look, she sound like a producer or director. Okay. I mean, she just honestly, truly, it was a different Kenya than the Kenya we see Kiki on the show. I loved it. You know, Shamia then goes in to say, and she said, you know, speak in detail on, you know, the abuse. And Shamia goes in to say how it was like their anniversary at one point. They were at a party. You know, they were having a disagreement. And he eventually accused her of, like, sleeping with somebody when she went on a trip to Miami. And she said he was very combative. He was being very, you know, aggressive. And when he said to her, you know, you were probably in Miami, you know, fucking other niggas or whatever. And she said, you know what? I was. Now, see, I don't know if that was her saying, if she said yes, she was because she really was, or if it was her, you know, somebody accused you or something, so you be like, yep, I sure was, just to make them sound dumb or make them think, but like, you thought I was like, I don't know which one she was, but she said that she told him, yep, I sure was. She said, well, when she said that, she's like, he hit me so hard across my face, you know, and she's like, he had bought me these my first pair of really nice shoes, and she's like, he hit me so hard that he knocked me out of the shoes that he bought me. I was like, damn. She said my shoes was on one side of the place, and then I was on the other side, like, he knocked me out of my shoes. And, you know, it was sad and it was painful, but it was a thing of, I felt like how Kenya guided her to tell her story in a way that people who have either been through it or haven't been through it can still relate to her story. I thought it was greatly told. We then see Cynthia's mom come in and everything. You know, her mom comes in and basically says, well, no, Cynthia says her mom, she knows how her mom was abused, but her mom never talks about it. Her abusive relationship, but she knows that her father abused her. We see how, you know, Nene came in and Nene brought up in her confessional how her oldest son's father was abusive to her. but how she was able to get out. Candy is also there. Candy says how she has never been in an abusive relationship. However, she's been around enough people who have been in it, so she's aware of it, and she's there, for support. We see Sheree isn't there, and Kenya calls her. Basically, Sheree says that she was in a car accident, and that's how she's running late. Okay, someone ran into the back of her car. We then see Cynthia's mom speak, and when Cynthia's mom spoke, it made me cry a little bit. Simply because, Cynthia's mom is an older woman, and for me, it kind of related to things women in the past have went through, and they just had to endure it, and they couldn't talk about it. That's why Cynthia said that she knew her mother had been through it, but her mom never talked about it. And, she says how, yes, her first husband was abusive, that how they knew each other for about 6 months before they got married. She had her first child, Cynthia, when she was 18. And she said how it got so bad at one point that she picked up a knife and wanted to stab him. So, Ken said, well, did you stab him? And she was like, no. I had to force myself to not do it. And it was because she had that emotional breakdown. Because, again, she hasn't talked about it. And who knows how many years, because Cynthia's 50. So let's say she probably ain't talked about it in, 40 years? So she says, for her, at that time, both her daughters were there. Both her daughters were at least aware somewhat of what was going on, even if they did not understand it. Hence, Cynthia saying she knew her mom had been abused. But again, her mother never talked about it. So, when her mom starts to cry, Cynthia wanted to get up and go to her mother, but Kenya stopped her. And I think the reason Kenya stopped her was because it was her mom's time to kind of speak her truth and deal with whatever emotions she was dealing with. And it was raw, uncut in the moment. And it was a thing because you saw everyone on the set just like focused in on her mom talking. Her mother just saying how, because I think she wanted Cynthia's mom to own her own moment. And, she says how, if I could tell myself, my younger self or my daughters or whatever about that time, I would say, don't stay, get out of it, don't let anyone put their hands on you, don't allow anyone to abuse in any kind of way. And she said she hopes her children are proud of her. I was like, oh my God, that is so... Because, I felt for Cynthia in that moment, felt for her mom in that moment, because it's a thing of hearing your mother admit what she endured as your mother and how she just had to kind of eat it, and she couldn't or didn't want to speak about it for so many years, and now she's publicly speaking about it. So for me, that was a really beautiful thing. We see Sheree finally does get there. She's in pain, her back is hurting. Sheree ass should have went to the ER because she was crying. I have a slip disc, so me getting rammed, someone runs to the back of me was even worse. Trust me, I understand, because with my cracked in my back, it's crazy screwed up now or whatever. So I completely get it. But I'm like, she should have went to the ER or to the hospital or something. But she ends up doing her part of the PSA. The other ladies joined in as well, and everyone kind of said their parts. Portia came down. It was a beautiful moment. It was I feel like Kenya did what she set out to do. I feel like it was a very well done, even for the part that we saw, and I know it'll be edited together later to be shown wherever. I wish they would have shown the finished product, on the show, but of course they don't do that all the time. But it was just a beautiful moment, with them just kind of standing together, standing against domestic violence, and then with some of them, going through it, because let's see, Kenya's been through it, Sheree's been through it, Nene's been through it, Cynthia's mom has been through it, meaning Cynthia in some way has been through it. Even if your friend has been through domestic violence, if you've witnessed your friend deal with it, in some ways you've dealt with it too. As y'all know, I've dealt with it before, so I think that might have been the reason it resonated with me, because I'm a survivor of it too. So, it was a great episode. I did like it. And, it was what it was. So, that is our review of Love and Hip Hop, Lord Jesus. The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 10, episode 8. I'm going to end it here. I hope everyone enjoyed. Please remember to like my video. You just hit the little like button. Throw some comments in below to let me know your thoughts on the video, or if you want me to review other shows. I might not sure. But, you can also share my videos, and if you have not done so already, please subscribe. And even when you subscribe, I think there's a button you can push to get notified when I have new videos too. So, go ahead and do that too. So, I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. Until next time, people. And oh, because a lot of you said that y'all like the iPhone pictures better, whatever. I'll be doing more on the iPhone. So I'm going to still be on the Android. It's gonna be back and forth, but I'll do more on here too because, hey, I bought the phone. So yeah, peace.